The Daily Jaws 50th Anniversary interview series is a collection of amazing conversations exploring the legacy of Steven Spielberg's screen adaptation of Jaws through the eyes of the fans. We'll be talking to famous fans, shark experts, people whose lives have been changed by the movie, and those that were there that helped to make the film. Today's episode has been made possible by Stern Pinball, the world's largest designer and manufacturer of arcade-quality pinball games. But we'll be telling you more about them later. We'll also be telling you about two amazing organisations that are very close to our hearts. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
If I had to make a Jaws remake, or else like my entire family would die, I would. Aye, aye, sir, ours in my ours. It's just like one of the best line reads in the world. There's a large plot of land that isn't dead bodies, I think. Oh my God, that was unbelievable.
Hey guys, it's Ross over at the Daily Jaws with another exclusive 50th anniversary interview. Today's guest is a bona fide superstar. He's not only starred in The Hunger Games, Oppenheimer, and also the hit TV show The Boys, but he's also a massive Jaws fan, and he has a close family connection to the franchise. Guys, it gives me huge pleasure to welcome Mr. Jack Quaid to the Daily Jaws.
Hello, hi Ross.
Jack,
How are you,
welcome.
man?
I'm good, dude. I'm really excited about this because I feel like after interviewing your co-star Simon Pegg and now yourself, I'm gradually working my way through the boys cast. So
Oh
the idea is
yeah.
to have the complete set by the end of this series. That's the
Oh yeah,
idea.
you'll get everybody. Yeah, you'll. I believe in you. You're gonna crush
Thank
it.
you. Well, we do have to thank Simon Pegg for helping sort of put this together because not a lot of people know this, and why would they? But you've been a follower of the Daily Jaws and you regularly engage with
A
our
long
content.
time.
Well, we sent you a message to let you know that this was kind of happening, but then we looked. I was like, "You've got over like 1.5 million followers on your Instagram. There's no way you're going to see this message." So when we interviewed Simon as a personal favor, we said, "Could you reach out to Jack?" And he was like, "Yeah, cool." And right there and then he texted you. So thank you
Oh
so much
yeah,
to Simon
yeah, he
Pegg.
did. And then I actually, because I don't really often go to the DMs, and then I just immediately sent you guys a message being like, I'm in if you want me. And then I saw all the stuff you sent me, so I apologize. But I'm very happy that Simon put this together because I am just a massive fan of this movie. It is just it means so much to me. I think I've seen it more than any other movie ever.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it's like my at the very top, like my favorite film, period.
How many times do you think you've seen Jaws?
It's the one film where I don't even know if I can count, like countless. I to the point where now I probably I don't know. There was a while there where I was watching it at least once a year. So I'm 32, so I've at least seen it 32 times, but it's got to be more than that. Um, but no, I can't. It's funny. Like I have to take an actual measured break from the movie because I just every time I see something new, but I know it too well now at this point, so I have to actually take a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, like you, I've seen it countless times. Honestly, I've been asked that question a lot, and
I
I'd
mean,
probably say at
clearly,
least,
yes,
yeah. I mean, I'm a fan. What can I say? It's probably in my top three. Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely number one. Always been.
yeah. I mean, it
But
has to be.
well, I think the thing for me is like because I've got a slightly different view of the movie. I don't just watch it as an entertainment. I watch it as something to study and try and understand new things about it, and also connecting with a lot of the people that have made the movie or been a part of it as well, and just constantly
Yeah.
learning. But when was the first time that you saw the movie, and what do you remember about that experience?
God, I must have been young. I think Jaws. I remember there being some sort of like, it's the 50th anniversary now, right? Is that
Mm,
is that what it is? Oh my
that's
God.
exactly it. Yeah.
Um, it was some anniversary. It might have been 25th anniversary. I'm not sure, but I remember being fairly young when I saw it
Mm,
for the first time. Um, I loved it. I think it's one of those movies that at first I just loved it because it was an incredible story and it had incredible characters, and Spielberg directed the absolute shit out of it.
mm,
And it was just a fun, it's a movie that you're so captivated by it, you know? It's terrifying. I remember I had a very big obsession with sharks. I think maybe before this, I even saw Jaws. I was always a
yeah.
guy that, or a kid that watched those like VHS National Geographic videos on sharks. And I found them so scary and so
Mm,
fascinating all at the same time. And then I watched Jaws, and it makes a shark into a monster, and it's so scary. I think it's kind of a gateway into horror films as well. I don't think it gets enough credit for that.
Mm.
It is a slasher movie. It just takes place on the water, and the characters are so well drawn, and you're just rooting for these three guys to kill the shark. It's amazing. But I think it reached a new level for me once I started to become more interested in films and making them. And I remember it's a thing that I'm always kind of trying to do whenever I'm working on something. Like it's trying to find a happy accident. I think that's the
Mm.
best thing that can happen on a set. That's when something goes wrong, but it serves the scene or it serves the story in a way that is better than anything you could have planned.
Mm.
And I've been lucky to be on set when that's happened a few times. But this entire movie is just an example of a happy accident. The shark never worked. And if the shark had worked perfectly as they intended, this movie would not be the classic that it is. I
Mm.
think that the POV, the fact that they had to get scrappy with it and they had to come up with this whole thing of like, okay, it's a POV shot for the first half of the movie.
Mm.
And then John Williams made that those moments so much scarier because of his score.
Yeah.
And by the time you actually see the shark, yes, the shark looks pretty fake, as you know, that's the joke. But by the time you see it, you've painted this, your imagination has made the thing so much scarier.
Yeah.
And you kind of put all of this stuff that you've been imagining onto this, animatronic thing. And it makes
Mm.
it that much scarier that so when you're finally seeing that guy get his leg eaten off in the pond, that thing
Yeah.
is really scary. And I just love that it's an example of like, okay, things will go wrong on a movie set or on a TV show. How
Mm.
do you turn that into something that's awesome? And this
Yeah.
movie is just the perfect example of that, in my opinion. So that's why I think it's stayed with me over the years. It's like embrace the mistakes, you
Yeah.
know?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Jaws as a movie itself is incredible. For me, it's, the apex, much like the shark itself, it's the apex of movie making and storytelling in that medium. But then also, as you say, all of the right things went wrong with Jaws. The shark not working then
Yeah.
allowed the actors to work more on their characters and make that aspect of the movie so much stronger because they didn't have anything else really to shoot at the time. And then obviously you get this incredible
Yeah.
score by John Williams, like you say, and the use of the jetty when that's pulled away with the holiday roast, or the barrels taking the place of the shark fin or whatever it is. And like you said, and I think Simon and I discussed this briefly during our interview, was the first thing that we're subjected to as the audience from a sensory perspective are those two notes in darkness before the credits even
Mhm.
roll. That shark is firmly, as
Yeah.
you said, in the imagination. So when you do see it, even though it is a 1970s at the time state of the art special effect, but as time goes on, technology sort of, shows its age. It's so firmly in
Yeah.
your mind, you don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just, oh,
Yeah. It would have been terrible if we saw that shark first thing, that first attack. It would have just been, kind of another kind of B movie. And then like what is cinema at that point? Spielberg, like I think that this movie, obviously he did incredible movies before Jaws, but Jaws kind of put him on the map and it was very much the
mm,
first blockbuster. And I don't know, I think never discounting the power of the audience's imagination, I think is huge,
mm.
The fact that when you watch that movie, you're able to fill in so many gaps. This shark is just a terrifying thing in your brain. And that score is so iconic, like to the point where now I don't think any other movie score really does this. Anytime I get in the water, I have the intrusive thought of that score and it plays in my head, just those two notes, and I have to shut that down immediately. Like
Yep.
all you have to do is get me in deep enough in the ocean, and if you go da da da, I will kill you. Like do not do that. It scares the hell out of me. It really does.
I think
There's so many other things. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, I think it's you and like 20 million other people probably feel
That's
exactly
the
the
thing. That's how
same.
iconic. That's how iconic it is, and it's still. When did it come out? 75. When did Jaws come out? Yeah,
75.
it's just insane. And the fact that it was really cool. I think they re-released it in theaters a few years ago, and I remember going to see it in Toronto with Colby Minifie, one of the people on The Boys.
Mm.
And yeah, I had never seen it in a theater, I don't think, before that. I had seen it once, maybe outdoors. They do this thing in LA called it's a company called Cinespia, and they put on these outdoor screenings at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery every summer. I know that sounds weird. There's a large plot of land that isn't dead bodies, I think. But there's a big wall, and they project this, classic movies onto it, and
Yeah.
it's like the best, theater going experience ever. But seeing it with a crowd those two times was awesome because usually I see it at home,
Mm.
on a screen. But I wasn't even alive for when that movie came out. But I really wish I was, just to hear the crowd's reaction to so many moments, like the head that pops out of the boat still scares the hell out of me. Just that again, that sound cue, the score, the timing of it. It's the first ever jump scare I remember ever.
Yeah.
Um, the whole thing with how they shot real sharks in Australia, and they used a diver who was a little person to make the shark look bigger. Like all
Hmm.
that stuff is fascinating to me too. The fact that that real shark got caught, which is so sad, but it got caught in some sort of line, and it made it look like he was thrashing the cage. Like again, so many things went wrong to make a movie great. I hope that shark lived,
It did.
but
It did. It
oh,
did
thank
actually
God.
break
Oh,
away, and
I
because
actually
the
didn't know that. Thank
yeah,
God.
because the
That's
the
good.
photographers that filmed it, Ron and Valerie Taylor, who were also the sort of the shark experts and consultants on the movie, they shot that, and they said it was hands down the scariest piece of footage that they'd ever shot. But the shark did start to sink with the cage, but did actually finally break free, and there was a shot of the
Okay,
shark
good.
actually breaking free. So they actually used it in the movie. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's again, it's just one of those happy accidents.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean the actors as well are also my favorite part of it. Just like those three guys, literally everyone. Those three guys, his wife. I'm like, why am I forgetting characters' names now and actors' names? Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw. Who plays Brody's wife?
Lorraine
Ellen.
Gary.
Lorraine Gary. I know. Yeah. Okay. Lorraine Gary. She's incredible. The mayor, man.
Oh,
Larry Vaughn.
so
Just an
good.
iconic. Played by, oh God, I know he's also in Raising Arizona. He's in so many
Mary Hamilton.
Ray Hamilton. He's a genius.
That's the one.
Down to the all the local. I love Spielberg's thing, especially in his early days of using a lot of non-actors.
Mm,
Just that kind of untrained way of delivering a line that feels so authentic and made Amity feel like such a actual small town.
yeah.
The whole yeah, every scene with the townspeople arguing is
Yeah.
incredible to me. It really did, and I love also stories about small towns where something goes awry. And Jaws was very much the first one version of that. And sorry, I'm just rambling, but there's a million things that I love about this movie, and I don't think one should ever attempt to remake it because I think it's just perfect. And there's only a few movies I feel that way about.
Yeah, it's same here. I mean, again, the thing about Jaws is it's not just the fact that it's about a shark and these three characters, it's the world that those characters inhabit, it's the other people in
Mhm.
that world. I mean, even one of my, and again, we'll come on to the acting in Jaws in a moment, but like one of my all-time favorite moments in cinema, let alone Jaws, is the moment where Chief Brody is confronted by Mrs. Kintner on the dock after her son's died, and she's obviously still grieving.
Incredible.
But it's a moment we can all relate to, and
Yeah.
and the thing is, for me, it's like one of the we've sort of already touched on the genre of Jaws. You know, you sort of talk about it as a slasher, that kind of film, but what's it actually trying to tell us? That's the question. But I want you just to hold that thought for a second because I'm having just a technical thing. Bear with me just a moment, Jack. Sorry about
You're
this.
good. You're good.
Jack,
Hi.
how are you? I
Hey,
love
how are
that you
you?
love I love that you love this
Oh,
movie.
oh my God. Thank you so much,
Oh, I
man.
just love it. And you want to
Oh,
know something? I think I saw you as a little kid on the vineyard. You know, my
yeah.
mom was born on the vineyard. I used to run a theater there when I was in college, and afterwards, for
Whoa.
years, we hired all the best young directors in New York, and they get to you work. We'd work all winter in New York.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
Oh my God.
That's when somebody once said, "Oh, are you
So
going to
it's
take to
nice to
the?"
either meet you or see you again. One of the two.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another thing that with this movie. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. So I'm
You're
humbly.
very, oh, I wanted to surprise you.
Yeah, you're also one of my favorite parts of the movie, man. Just you recounting that whole beginning of the movie. You and everyone, you guys set such an incredible tone of like what how this town works in its day-to-day life and how
I get
quickly
it.
that's affected by like this insane force of nature. It really is an honor to meet you. I'm so
Oh,
happy
you're
that you
very
surprised me,
sweet.
man. Oh,
Oh, I
you
love
just
that you
sneaking
love
on.
this movie, my dear. It's so cool.
I think, well, first of all, dude, it's such an honor to meet you. I thank you
You're
for
very
and
sweet.
Ross, thank you for having him surprise me. This is unbelievable.
Uh,
Um, this is truly great. No, I truly love this movie. It's, I think, a big reason why I love film in general and why I don't know. I mean, you can, it's why I've wanted to like devote my life to it. Really, really. It
Mm.
really,
I get it. You know, it inspired all of these guys, Soderbergh and
mm,
Brian Singer, great, good filmmakers who really fell in love with this movie. I mean, and Steven was still Steven then. Now he's
yeah.
Spielberg. Uh,
Oh,
Thank you, my dear.
my God, thank you.
Oh,
Yes, I'd love to meet you in person someday. Thank you for stopping
I
by.
I look forward to it. Bye, kid.
Cheers,
Oh,
Jeffrey. Take care, mate.
Bye,
Bye.
bye, Ross.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See you,
you.
mate.
bye. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, it's Ross. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the series. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you a little bit about some of the organisations that we've been working with that help make this episode possible. Stern Pinball, the oldest and largest designer and manufacturer in arcade quality pinball games. Here is their Jaws game.
Fire the harpoon! Shoot! Fast fish.
Well, nothing's easy, is it?
This shark will eat anything.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Pretty cool, huh? Well, Stern don't only make pinball machines, they've also made a generous donation to the two organisations that we're spotlighting throughout the series. Minorities in Shark Sciences, or MISS for short, a non-profit founded in 2020 that champions diversity in shark, ray and marine sciences. MISS creates equitable opportunities for historically underrepresented communities through hands-on programs and believes that diverse scientists bring diverse ideas, driving the innovation essential for ocean conservation. Representation matters, and MISS is making sure the next generation sees a place for themselves in marine biology. Learn more and support their mission at missalesmo.org. The mission of the Tourette Association of America is to provide help and hope to those affected by Tourette syndrome, tic disorders, and associated conditions through awareness, research, and support. It's the only national organisation serving the community and works to raise awareness, advance research, and provide ongoing support to patients and families impacted by Tourette syndrome and tic disorders. To this end, the Tourette Association of America directs a network of 31 chapters, 83 support groups, and recognises 18 centres of excellence across the country. It's a non-profit organisation and is extremely close to the heart of not just Jeffrey Kramer, but also his family. Guys, thanks for listening. Let's get back to the conversation.
That was so cool.
Good.
I am seriously nerding out so much. When he first came on, I thought I was just like, because he was saying technical issues, and I was like, oh yeah, it must be someone who helps Ross out. And then I was like, wait a second, this is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Oh,
everyone's had the same reaction that's been had Jeffrey on the call. Simon's reaction was hilarious because he was like,
what did he do?
huh?
Yeah,
Because it was the same thing. Yeah, it's just brilliant.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. What I'll do is I'll send you a screenshot of your reaction because when I do that, I just watch the guest's reaction and you're just like,
Yeah,
like this.
yeah,
Brilliant. Absolutely
yeah.
fantastic.
No, it took me a second. I was like, oh my God, it's Deputy. Oh my God,
Oh.
I was so happy. Thank you so much for all of that. That was
No,
just a treat.
it's our way of saying thank you for stopping by and talking to us.
Of course.
There
What a
was
sweetheart he is too. Oh my God. Brilliant.
he's the nicest guy. He's more connected than the internet. It's ridiculous how many people he knows in the industry. It's crazy.
I mean, also Anyway, yes, he's an unbelievable.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jeffrey was talking about a pickup about the Ben Gardner head in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
I've got a brief story about a pickup that I absolutely love.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
have you heard about how there's a shot just after the guys have finished singing in the orca, and the shark starts
Mhm.
to ram the inside of the boat? Have you heard about
Yeah.
how they filmed the shark actually ramming the wood and the wood cracking? Have you heard that story?
Man, maybe at some point in my life, but remind me. I don't
I'll tell
actually
you.
know this off the top.
So, so this is probably one of my all-time favorite movie making stories, and I try to share it whenever I can because I think it proves a really, really special point. But basically, with that particular insert shot, that was actually filmed in Los Angeles on a driveway. Yeah. So Joe Alves in his garage had
Yeah.
some wood because Steven Spielberg basically decided I need to show the shark ramming the orca. So Joe Alves had some
Mhm.
wood. They created the fake inside hull. They had one of their guys run a hose pipe down the plank, set up a camera on the driveway, and they kicked the wood. That's how they got that shot. And I'm
That's
like,
so great.
and it's like, and apparently Spielberg was there. And so you got
Yeah.
arguably one of the greatest storytellers and filmmakers of all time on a driveway in Los Angeles, kicking a piece of wood to make his movie work. And yet on the other end of this
I love how
production,
lo-fi that is, man. I love that.
I love it because on the other side of the same production, you've got a
Yeah.
$250,000 shark that's the pinnacle of
Yeah.
special effects that won't work. So he's trying to figure out how do I make the shark work when it's not working. And I'm just like, that for
Yeah.
me is that's just a fantastic example of just storytelling. I absolutely love it, and that's why I love speaking to guests. Whether it's someone like yourself who's in the industry or someone who's just watching it as a movie fan, we can all
Mhm.
appreciate that the craft of Jaws is just something very, very special about it.
It's unbelievable. I actually have a question for you. Maybe you'll know the answer to this. What's the
Please.
deal with that shooting star?
In what way?
Just that's what is that post? Is that did they actually capture a shooting? Yeah, it has to be, right? It just
Post,
feels
post.
so like it's the one part of the movie where I'm like, it's a Disney movie right now. Just like
Yeah.
right now, it's very Wish Upon a Star. It's
Hmm.
cool. I love it, but it is so like I
Yeah,
was
it
always
was.
it always surprises me. I'm like, right, there's like a magical little shooting star
Yeah,
as
it was
well.
added in post.
Mm.
I'm not quite sure the
Yeah.
meaning or the symbolism behind it. But yeah, it was definitely added in post. We've had that confirmed, sadly, because that would have been
Feels almost
amazing.
like animation, like a little bit of like 2D animation or
It,
something where
it
they were like,
it does look a bit animated. You're right.
yeah,
Um,
it's
s-
great. It's unbelievable.
so obviously you're in the industry. You've had a really successful career so far, and long may it continue. And you've sort of alluded that you've written stuff. You've obviously acted, as we know. When it comes to a movie like Jaws, or say specifically Jaws, is there any one particular element of the craft of Jaws that you think just elevates it to that next level, or do you think it's a combination of everything kind of coming together?
I think it's a combination. I think that's another thing I love about it is that everyone was doing their job the absolute best that they could. And it's a thing about filmmaking where it's not just about the actors or the director or it's not about any one group. It's about a bunch of different groups and departments coming together to make
Mm,
something incredible. And I just think, yeah, sure, the shark wasn't working, whatever. When you do see it, looks incredible. I
mm,
think, like, and never something like that had never really been attempted before. And
mm,
all these things had to come together to make Jaws a classic.
mm,
And often a couple of things are great and the rest aren't, but like everything came together to make this movie awesome. And I think that just speaks to how valuable a real crew is and
yeah,
how much imagination and talent that entire group had, down
yeah,
to, everyone, like the special effects, the actors, the sound effects, the score, the editing, which we just talked about a bit,
mm.
all of it was just firing on all cylinders. It was very much lightning in a bottle. But yeah, I think it speaks to teamwork as well, this movie.
That is almost exactly what Carl Gottlieb said when we spoke to him
Yeah.
about Jaws. He said it was just all the right people at the top of their game coming together to pull off this amazing thing with Steven Spielberg at the center of it. Just
Yeah.
pulling it all together through that incredible vision and talent that he has. Um,
I read his
Are you?
book, the Jaws book. It's so good. My friend of mine gave that to me for I think Christmas or something one year, and
Mm,
it's just it's I love. There was some documentary. That's why I was really excited when Jeffrey was talking about there's another documentary coming on some Jaws DVD or some release. I remember
mm,
the making of Jaws documentary, which really spawned that new like all those little factoids that we know. I think spawned from that,
mm.
and so good. I love that Richard Dreyfuss like thought he would never work again, so that's why he decided because he thought he was terrible in the movie, so that's
Yeah.
why he agreed to do it. Like just little things like that, I just love.
Yeah, I've got to ask you
Yeah,
this. This isn't one of the questions that I had, but now that I've got you, I have to ask. I know we
yeah,
said
yeah.
that we absolutely say no to a Jaws remake or anything like that because again, it's just such a perfect film. Why would you remake it? However,
If
if
I
you
was offered a
were,
role, but I do it.
yeah, who would you take?
No.
Which?
Who would I take? I mean, it would be. It feels like sacrilege to even accept it. You know what I mean? Like it just feels. But if I had to make a Jaws remake, or else like my entire family would die, I would. I mean, I would go with Brody. Or not Brody. Sorry, I would go with Hooper. Hooper, I think, is my favorite character.
Hmm,
I just love. I think it just started like kind of a lifelong obsession with Richard Dreyfuss too. I just love his whole vibe. He is uniquely himself in every role, but it makes every role
hmm,
so different.
hmm,
And I fully fell in love with that character with his read of like parroting back pirate dialogue to Robert Shaw, where he's like, "Aye, aye, sir, arge, my ar." It's just like one of the best line reads in the world. Um, and I think I would go with that character. I think out of Hooper, Quint, and Brody, I think probably my type puts me more towards Hooper, but I would pick that as well. And let me just also stress, this should never happen. Like this should never, they should never remake this movie. Um, but yeah, no, that's definitely who I. That's like he's always been my favorite character. I think he gets a lot of levity in the movie.
hmm.
It's so interesting compared to the book where Brody and Hooper, like Hooper's having an affair with Brody's wife, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
right.
actually
Yeah.
read the book. I'll say that I have not read it,
Hmm,
which is like my big blind spot. But I know that there's like a whole affair subplot that did they
yeah.
shoot? They did shoot a bit of it, right?
No,
No.
from what I understand is they because the producers Richard Zanuck and David Brown basically came across the book independently, but around about the same time.
Okay.
And they read it and they realized there was actually a very good story there. But what they needed to do was strip all of because there was the affair story. There was also the subplot around the mayor and the mob. All of these subplots
Right. Yeah, the
to
mob
flesh
was
out the
part of
keeping.
it. Right, right, right.
Yeah, and they thought,
Yeah.
I think it was David Brown that said this. He said this is going to be an A to B adventure story, and the star is a fish. That's it, and let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
But the thing, because a lot of people avoid reading the book because they think it's going to maybe influence or inform their view of the movie, whereas actually I look at it and I think, well, it's just two different ways of telling the same story, and it
Oh yeah.
actually it underpins or emphasizes the genius of not just Spielberg but also his writing team, his editing team, the producers, because they knew how to make that story work for a film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I think if you put any of those elements in to this version of the movie, I don't think it works as well. It is a great adventure movie, but it also has like a surprising amount of depth. I think the performances really elevate
Mm,
what I guess could have been a pretty stock standard adventure movie, and everything about it elevates it. But I think just that scene of Brody and his kid doing, mimicking each other, that tells that gives you so much depth to that character and makes you, if you didn't like him before, it makes you love him.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you know, that's such an incredible scene that does
Mm.
so much incredible character work. It gives you so much context to that character, and it takes like 15 seconds, and it's
That
amazing.
that moment has come up in so many of the conversations I've had through this series. It's my personal favorite moment in the movie. I mean, obviously, the Indianapolis is an absolute
Oh, I
showcase. It's
mean,
incredible,
yeah,
but just as a tiny moment of humanity in a movie that's like Jaws that people obviously think is about a fish killing people. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's not really about that at all. And I don't know if you know this, but that moment apparently wasn't in the original script. So apparently,
That's what I'm saying. Happy accidents. They just
yeah.
improvised that, didn't they?
Well, what happened was, and then again, we get it sort of second, third hand, but from what we
Yeah.
understand, Roy Scheider was just sat at the table, just going through his lines and practicing some mannerisms and stuff. And the little boy, Jay Mello, who played Sean, sat opposite him and he started just to copy him naturally. That's just what he did. And Roy
Mhm.
noticed this and went over to Stephen and said, "Look, this boy's copying us. We can do something with this. Let's play around with this." So they shot it,
Genius.
and I'm just like, amazing. And it's that again, happy accident, the right things going wrong that land in this
Yeah.
movie and just add that depth to those characters that we've been talking about. And that's partly for me why I think people like you and I and so many other millions of people out there love this movie so much, because it's about the characters. It's not about a shark. The shark is incidental. It's
Mhm.
just a problem that you'll have to kind of solve. It's
Absolutely.
just incredible. Um,
I did not know that about that moment. And like, I mean, good for Roy Scheider of just like noticing something and just being like, what about this? You know,
it's
I love stuff like that. I try to, if I can, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like maybe
mm,
9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out. But I try to at least take one big swing with most scenes that I do just to
mm,
see if it, and sometimes it lands in the final cut and sometimes it works, you know?
mm.
But this is just God, this movie continues to, I mean, because I didn't know that, continues to amaze me in terms of like just those happy accidents, those small moments,
Mm.
those surprises that just became something so great. And so I think you used the word humanity a while ago to describe that
Mm.
moment, but it's like, yeah, it's a very human movie. I think that's why I love it so much.
So, Jack, we've got a couple of controversial questions for you now, and there's one question that I can't
Controversial.
wait to ask you.
Okay.
So, the first question is: out of the victims in the first movie, so Chrissy,
Mm.
Pippet, Alex, Quint, the estuary victim, and the and Ben Gardner, who would you save and why if you could only save one?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think I've always felt the worst for Alex Kittner.
Hmm.
And I think just because I think because I watched it for the first time when I was around his age. So it was like the shark had killed me, you know? So I would probably go back and save him just because I think I felt the worst for him. He's young. He, I don't know. I still don't know how they did that whole thing with like the shark's fins. It's still like like it still looks like I'm witnessing an actual murder. I feel so bad for him. So I'll go. That was my knee-jerk reaction. So I'll go with him.
Good answer. Good answer. Um,
Yeah.
did they need a bigger boat?
Uh, no. Did they? No, they didn't need one. I mean, look, people lost their lives. It is a weird thing, actually, if you think about it from the mayor's perspective. They were just like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna I'm gonna hire a local fisherman to deal with it, send him out on his own. There is no plan B. That is a very odd thing. But did they need one? I feel like if they had a bigger boat, would the shark have even been around? I feel like the shark would have just been like, I'm out of here. Like I
That's a
can't
good
deal with
point.
this. I can't fight this.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I feel about it.
that's a
But
good point.
also, Quint died, so
Yeah.
But that's how he wanted it. Or actually, probably the opposite. But
So I hadn't thought about it from the shark's point of view. Yeah, you
probably
get
the
a bigger
worst
boat. You
way
think,
he probably could have gone, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
yeah, probably was.
Yeah. There we go.
Next question. Speaking of the mayor, how did the mayor end up being the mayor again in Jaws 2?
Have no fucking idea. Um, well, I mean, not to get all political with it, but we basically just did the same thing in America. We just reelected the Jaws mayor, essentially. So I guess it happens.
That's brilliant. It
I don't
happens. It
know.
happens.
It
And
happens.
the last of the controversial questions. This is a question that I've really been looking forward to asking you, although we might already know the answer to this because the answer may be obvious or maybe not. Given your dad was in one of them, which is your
Mhm.
favorite Jaws sequel?
Oh, sorry, Dad. It's four, actually, weirdly enough. It's four. I don't know why. I think that there's just something. I don't really watch the Jaws sequels a lot. Um, two, ugh, I can't do two. Two, the all the kids annoy me too much, to be honest with you. Like they're just all screaming the whole time. I get it, they're all in danger, but
Mm.
it's just and there's too many questions. It's like, yeah, why is he the mayor again? How the fuck does Brody get in this exact situation twice? I do like the helicopter kill in that one. That one's fun and
Yeah.
campy and weird. But it can no way measure up to the original. I mean, none of them can really. Three, yes, my dad's in it. It's great. I actually, people make fun of it, but I actually do really love. When I was a kid, I found the shark going through the giant window. I found it very scary when I was a kid. Uh, Four, I think it's just because Michael Caine's in it and he elevates everything. There's just something kind of ridiculous about that movie. The movie, and I think it's so ridiculous that I find it entertaining, is that the movie is trying to say that sharks in general have a grudge against the Brody family. And that's fucking hilarious to me. Is that the sharks all had a meeting and they're like, you know who killed Bruce? This one guy who lives on this island. I've heard that his son is moving to Jamaica. Send Larry there. Like, that's insane.
I can
Like,
tell you
oh,
too. This is
we killed one of his sons in Amity. The other one's going along with Brody's wife.
oh, let me tell you two things
I
about
just,
Jaws: The Revenge. That are two of my favorite things. We actually wrote an article based on the theory that there was the fan theory that the sharks from all the Jaws movies are related, and
they have to be.
theoretically
Right?
it works. But my favorite thing as well, I know you haven't read the Jaws book, so I'm assuming you haven't read the Jaws: The Revenge novelization, which is pretty good. But there's actually
Oh,
a chapter based on the
imagine if
shark's
I read
point.
that book and not the original.
I'd actually prefer it because there's a chapter in Jaws: The Revenge, the book, that's actually written from the shark's point of view. It's
What
it's
what
just
what happened?
it's mind blowing. It's absolutely you have to find a copy of it somewhere on eBay. It'll be on there,
Okay.
and just read it. It's absolutely, and then try and get that made. Try and get that snuck into something you're
Yeah.
making next. That
Well,
would
I
be
was
good.
gonna say if you're gonna make any more Jaws sequels or reboots or whatever, do it from the shark's perspective. Like do the movie, make it animated, whatever, where all the sharks, it's like Shark Mafia, and they're all like, this Pony family's getting out of control. Like we need that. We need that. It's so yeah, I think I just enjoy that movie whenever it's on. I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. It's just so funny. And I think that there's like a charm to that. Also, that poster is really good. That poster, like the shark
The poster is
coming up,
good.
like it's an epic poster.
Yeah, it is. I think that's probably
Yeah,
the best thing about the movie, apart of that and Michael Caine.
probably. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, nothing's topping number one.
no, no, absolutely agreed. Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I have
Thank you.
one final question for you before
Yes,
you
please.
before you
Yes.
go. We're obviously sitting here. It's 2025. It's 50 years this year since the movie came out. What is the
Damn.
legacy of Jaws? Why do you think, we're still here talking about it 50 years later?
Oh, oh man, it's so many things. It's a lot of what I've talked about. It's teamwork. It's how a crew comes together to make a movie. It's very much the story of the blockbuster,
Mm,
the that kind of four quadrant thrills an entire crowd movie, but done with I think it speaks to heart in movies and humanity
mm,
in movies, and making sure that that is prioritized above the special effects because that is ultimately I think what made this movie a classic.
mhm.
It's and again, it's happy accidents for me. I think probably at its core, that's what I associate Jaws with the most. Um, it's all those things. I think if you're interested in film and making movies and doing anything in movies, I think just study that movie. Like study Jaws. It's fascinating. All the little stories of everything that happened around it, I think make the movie even better. Um, and I think it really does. I mean, at least for me personally, every time something's going wrong in what I do, it calms me down because I'm like, this could be a Jaws moment, and you never know.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's a brilliant way to look at
yeah.
it. Jack, Thank you again so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. It really has. And again, thank you to Simon for helping facilitate this conversation. It's been absolutely
thank you to
brilliant.
Jeffrey for making my entire year. Thank you for coordinating that. That was unbelievable.
You're absolutely welcome. As I said, I'll send you a photograph or a screenshot of your reaction when you figure out who it is, because it was absolutely priceless. Guys, I've been Ross for the Daily Jaws, speaking with the one and only Jack Quaid for the Jaws 50th anniversary. Loads more interviews to come, but please stay tuned. And until next time, as always, I'll drink to your legs and I'll bid you a fond farewell and adieu. That's it for today's deep dive into Jaws, the film that turned beaches into no-swim zones and created the summer blockbuster. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to follow, rate and review. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, just when you thought it was safe to stop listening, there's plenty more episodes to come. Thanks again to Stern Pinball for making this episode possible. Please be sure to check out the work of Minorities and Shark Sciences and also the Tourette's Association of America. That's it for now, guys, but I'll catch you next time. I'll drink to your legs.